Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
Times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man,
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Hope you had a good day yesterday. And let's see what's in store for today. We've almost made it through the halfway point of the month. We're at halfway through today. We'll be halfway there, because we got 31 days this month. So today's the 15th. So we're continuing on from yesterday. Yesterday we were dealing with a Scorpio moon. Today we still have that Scorpio moon for the rest of today. However, at 5:52 p.m. it goes void, of course. What that means is Scorpio goes through the last phases of Scorpio. The moon goes through the last phases of Scorpio, getting ready to go into the next sign, and that's sort of like the end of the story. So we have time to contemplate what we just experienced, and then in the morning at 2 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, it's going to go into the next sign, which is Sagittarius. So we have a Capricorn moon, Capricorn sun, and a Scorpio moon. So we know that one is Earth, Capricorn is Earth, the physical things in the world, the body, anything related to the physical is where Capricorn is. But there's something about Capricorn that is a good reminder, and that is this. This is the tarot card that represents Capricorn. Okay? It's the card of the devil. And in this card, we see a lot of things that are just illusionary. These are things that are seen when one is looking at the physical world, and only looking at the physical world, it becomes very monstrous, because things in the physical world kind of get out of hand at times. So we're reminded that there's more than just the physical world. It's okay to be in the world, which we are. We're here on the world at this present time, but we're not of this world. We're from elsewhere. We've come to this planet to learn, to grow. And so we want to keep reminding ourselves that what is here on this earth is only an illusionary aspect of the big picture of life, and not get caught up as if this is the be-all, end-all of everything. And that's all it is. Is there really a character like out there like this? Well, we certainly created images and ideas of this, but the biggest monster and the biggest problem we have is our own self, when we allow ourselves to get caught up in the illusions of life. Okay, and then on the other side we have the Scorpio, which is the moon, and here this is the sun sign, or the sign that goes to Scorpio, death. So we've got the devil and death going on right now, and these are two heavy-duty cards. Death is about a transition, transformation. What you see here is not what you think. Again, it's illusionary. If you get caught up in trying to let your mind put this together, thinking that these are all parts of the same being that are dismembered or what have you, when they're just symbols that represent different ideas. So here we are at this place where we're coming out of this Capricorn moon. We got a Capricorn sun. We have less than a week to go. We've got the Scorpio moon. So we've got earth signs and we've got water signs, a lot of emotions. Scorpio not only is an emotional sign, but Scorpio is that which brings up what is deeply buried. It's like when you plant a seed, sometimes you got to plant that seed down there so it can grow. Something is coming up from the ground to provide new growth, and once it does, there is new growth. The seed transforms from a seed into the sprout. The sprout continues to grow to become the plant. the plant grows and it has flowers on it, and so on and so on. And so there's a continual change of process. We call this process death, but is it really death, or is it life? Or is it something that's nameless? It's just the process of what happens. So we need to understand the physical, make our way through the physical, enjoy what's going on in the physical, but don't get caught up in it. So that's what our conscious mind is, and then the unconscious mind processing all of these emotions, all of these feelings that are coming up deep, deep from inside, trying to see what they're all about. Now, we've gone through some challenges with this the last day. Yesterday we had the wounded healer last night, so we're still coming out of that wounded healer, going through its paces. We've had a lesson to learn with the way in which we're going to express our imagination, and that brings us into today, where Mars started off right after midnight with Saturn. Okay, Mars is up against Saturn, which is a square, and Saturn's all about discipline. So we've got this lesson that we've had to learn, how we're disciplining our energy, what we're going to do with it, where we're going to put it. Are we going to use our energy for positive things, creative things, or are we going to use it for warlike ways? And then we're just about to this aspect here between Scorpio and Jupiter. Jupiter expands things. So all that we've learned, we've been going through, we're now going to expand this realm of Scorpio to see if there's anything more in there that we need to understand as we're finishing things out. And then at 5:52 p.m., the sun and the moon are going to be in a sextile with each other. And we also see the void of course. So this is when we come to the last aspect of that Scorpio moon. And we've got the rest of the evening and part of the early morning to process that before we go into the next moon sign. So when the sun and the moon get together, that's that Capricorn and that's that Scorpio are going to be in a sextile position with each other. There's a nice, good exchange of energy taking place between both of these things. So I brought up the two signs here so we could understand what's at play. The devil and death. The concepts. What are these concepts we have of these? How do we understand them? How are they playing on our emotions? And when we look past these things, what do we find? And we find a great amount of learning, a great amount of insight about who we are and what we're about, because we learned that the things that maybe we were once afraid of aren't really anything to be afraid of, because they're nothing more than something we've created with our minds. Remember, the mind is the first principle that is out there. The Kybalion says all is mind, and therefore we look at the mind as the first thing. We all have a mind that connects with the world, that thinks, and we can create things and images in our mind that can really send us on, quite a journey, depending on what it is, whether it's something good or something crazy, something scary, something pleasurable. We have lots of ways in which we could do that, and so we have to learn not to play tricks on ourselves. But sometimes playing those tricks on ourselves is what we need, because it snaps us out of where we were. And once we get snapped out of where we were, we can start to move along again. So that's part of the process, and we just keep moving along with this process, knowing that change, death, is part of what happens in life. We change, we grow, and all of these things are very important to us. Okay? Moving right along here in the Jewish calendar, 24 Tevet is the name for today, and the daily thought is right here. Does he need our praises? One time my kids outsmarted me. I had them in the van and we pulled into a parking lot where the Ferris wheel and other rides had been set up. I had no time to take the kids and merry-go-rounds. On a hot summer day, I had work to do. And then I heard from the back seat, "Oh, thank you, Daddy. You're the best daddy in the whole world. You brought us for a surprise. Yay, Daddy." 5 minutes later, I was frying on hot pavement at the foot of a Ferris wheel waving to my kids. It was then that I understood a teaching of the Rabbi. Before we make any requests, we must praise the Master of the universe. We praise him for the beauty of the world he has made. We praise him for rescuing the widow, the orphan, and the oppressed. We praise him for the simple things, the lowly things, the everyday things that go unnoticed. In that way, we are bringing him into our world, and our prayers have an effect on this world. The moon is a waning moon, 28% of the way back down to the new moon. We'll be there in, about 5 days now? So that's coming up. Solar wind, spaceweather.com. Solar wind is 390.2 kilometers per second. Our planetary K index, this is a scale that goes up to 9, so we're at a 1. Could get as high as a 2 in the next 24 to 48 hours. We have this one corona hole facing our direction. There's no notification yet that we're going to be affected by any of the solar wind coming off, but it could happen because we are facing this way, and we see there's other openings that are moving this way as well. M-class possibility is dropping from 40 down to 30%. X-class is dropping, well, staying the same at 5. Geomagnetic storm activity seems to be dropping. It's going from 30% to 20 in the mid latitudes, from 40 to 30 in the high latitude. So things are stabilizing a little bit out there. Remember, with all of this energy, the universe breathes in and out. The sun is part of that process of breathing, so it sends out energy and then it comes back. And everything is breathing, an exchange of this energy. It's very important, that way things don't stay stagnant. So the universe is breathing, we're part of the process. And tonight when we look at the sky, here's an image of what we'll see. The moon, Scorpius down here, Saturn lower left of the moon. It says Jupiter's moon fades into the eclipse by Jupiter's shadow tonight around 12:27 a.m. Friday morning Eastern time, which would be 9:27 p.m. Thursday night. Use a telescope to watch it dwindle out of view just to Jupiter's west around 10:56 p.m. Eastern time. Jupiter's great red spot crosses the planet's central meridian. For the whole month schedule of events, got a link here so you can go and check it out. It says before dawn on Friday the 16th, look southeast for the waning moon near Saturn. Below them sparkles Antares as shown here. So this is what you're going to see looking south-southwest tonight. The moon, Saturn, and Taurus in the Scorpius region, because we're going through. The moon sign is in Scorpio, so this is what this is meaning, that we're passing through this phase. So next up, what are we going to have here? Sagittarius, right? Because we're moving right along. And that is our cosmic weather for today. So it's what you're dealing with. Just plan accordingly as you go out and experience the energy of the world. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bradshaw. Dirk Bradshaw, that is. All right, we have a number of sightings here. First one, this is from Melbourne, Australia. It says, please watch in high definition. The object is a little faint. Recorded above Melbourne, Australia with PB079HP night vision. Folks, the lens is set in infinity. I can't accept this as a bug near the focus. My setup only enhances available light. Rarely captures bugs. Birds, yes. However, G-force indicates otherwise. So this is a 1 minute 35 second video. Of course, as always, you want to enlarge the screen so you can see it much better. And let's see, where do we have our UFO moving in this? There it is, right here. It's moving downward. Okay, this is a very unusual video from the UFO Lou, showing extraordinary skills of the crew of an unidentified flying object. Extraordinary from suppressed technology, Earth's perspective. If up there is a war going on, then technology on board the satellite could get jammed. I don't think the crew stopped to take a photo. Okay, so very interesting indeed. Again, you just saw that. Look how that maneuver was. Shot down and shot right back up again. Very, very interesting. Alright, let's move from there. This is moon circling the moon's atmosphere. Just interesting video of a UFO circling the moon's atmosphere is the only thing we have noted here. 1 minute and 6 second video. And let's see where we have the UFO. Okay, we're looking right here. Something's going to show up. There we go, a little thing right there. It's very faint when it gets onto the moon. You can see her right here moving along. Okay, check this out. Enlarge the screen, you'll see it much better. Next story. Amazing. A video of UFO releasing orbs over Massachusetts. Watch this amazing footage of the huge UFO, possible mothership, releasing 5 glowing orbs. This was allegedly taken Tuesday the 13th of January over Massachusetts. What's your opinion about this sighting? Real or fake? Please leave your comment below. The witness said, I was watching a UFO from my roof. Weird UFO dropping glowing orbs in the distance. They went into formation before disappearing. Me and my neighbors watched this from my roof in western Massachusetts. Okay, we've got this video here. 1 minute 49 seconds. Okay, here's the object. And oh look, something drops out of it. Huh, interesting. Look at that. Very interesting. We've seen certainly UFOs definitely dropping off orbs. This one is pretty good shot. Pretty good shot here. We got 4 of them. Remember, just recently there was the sighting over California. It wasn't drastic like this. It was one thing going one way and something shot out the other way. Very interesting, and off they go. Looks like, look, they're all in formation. Alright, very good. Good shot. This is okay. Very cool. Very cool indeed. So, something's going on out there in Massachusetts. Very interesting. Alright, here we're going up to the surface of Mars. Ancient runes on walls, mines, and gold found on Mars. Okay, this also comes from JPL's photos. This comes from the actual sources. Here's just an example of some runes on Mars and what they look like on Earth to see that there's some similarity. This is a very interesting photo here. The person found a black hole in the shape of a rectangle which had to be carved out by an intelligent species, probably a mine. I found lots of gold in the photo. Remember the woman figure on Mars? She was just 2 to 4 centimeters tall. This is more evidence of tiny alien species living on the surface. I had a look at the original photo and found some ancient runes on the far right of the photo. These runes were the walls of the room they made below a hillside, much like the Indians in Canyon de Chelly. These walls would make rooms for a massive dwelling below the cliff, would be perfect for an alien species that was 2 to 4 centimeters tall, perfect for the woman and man figure on Mars. The evidence continues to mount up. There's also lots of gold veins in the area seen below. Right here. So much gold it can make any country that gets to Mars with mining equipment the most powerful country on the Earth. There's certainly a reason to go to Mars, right? If all this gold is up there. And of course we've got the square hole in the wall, or the rectangle. 1 minute and 14 seconds for this video. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for you to check out. And we got one more here. This is alien ship comes close to Apollo 12. There's the object, comes to us from NASA's resources. Flipping through some old moon photos, I found this object in the background. Now, if it was in a single photo, I might have some doubts about it. However, it is in 30 plus photos. Check on that. Just change the last number in the URL above, before and after this one. That's right. The object is not only in other photos, but it changes its distance away from the camera, and it changes its angle of view, meaning its shape changes slightly from photo to photo. This particular photo gives us more detail of the UFO than others. I believe this UFO is an alien drone that not only records but sends live streaming of the alien locations. Aliens observe the Apollo 12 mission as astronauts walk on the moon or walk on Earth. It's depending on what you believe. Changing the face of human space exploration forever. I wonder how many species were watching at that moment. Well, what it's saying is you just take this link here and you just change the number here, 7104, and just change it to 7105, then to 06, 07, and that way you get the next picture in alignment with this. And here are several pictures in a row. Very fascinating. And some people believe we didn't go to the moon. Some people believe we did go to the moon. There's a lot of different theories out there. I've talked about the different theories on this show, reasons why either one could be. So we could be looking at images here that were taken of the moon, or we could be looking at images here that were taken perhaps in one of the deserts of the United States of America, or someplace else around the world. And these aliens are wondering, what are these folks doing, pretending they're someplace else when they're really not there? I still go back and I still think it's fascinating that in 1969 we were told we went to the moon. We watched on television the moon landing. And yet, here in 2015, well, last year, 2014, as they were preparing the Orion project, the NASA scientists came out and made a statement. I played the statement on the show where he said that they were trying to figure out the issue of the Van Allen radiation belt because it was too dangerous for humans to go through, so they were only sending unmanned missions until they could resolve that problem. Quite fascinating how in 2014 they're still trying to resolve the problem of the Van Allen radiation belt so they could send humans through, when in the 60s and 70s we're told that they did it so easily in that little spaceship that went up there that a lot of people can imagine that they went to space in. So questions come to mind. Did we really go to the moon? Did we really land on the moon? And of course, why weren't there any stars? Well, we know why that was. Anyway, moving on. Going to get to the book of Revelation next. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So it's been very fascinating going through these books, through the book of Daniel, now the book of Revelation. I really do enjoy doing the show. I enjoy getting up every day. It's part of my routine now, and I really do enjoy. This is what I would do on a daily basis, even if I didn't have the webcam going and not doing the show. It's just this is what I do. So I find it fascinating, and as you've noticed, I used to get more into conspiracy theories, and I've really let that aspect go. And I've turned more towards looking at other things. We've been, focusing on the show more on biblical and spiritual and prophetic information, because the conspiracy theories, they're out there. Once we know the stories, it's just the same script being played over and over again. By going to the books of prophecy, we can see in there that such events are discussed and talked about. When we're told to watch out for the wars and the rumors of wars, and don't be deceived, it's all, and there's many other places, it all points to the lies and the challenges that we're all going through right now. And so rather than get caught up in all of that stuff, my purpose and the idea was to really focus on what is the solution. What is it that's going to get us through all of these times? The book of Revelation is a script, if you will. It's a story of what's going on. It's not told in a plain outright fashion. It's one that we have to dig into to be able to understand a little bit more. Jesus talked in parables. Much of the Bible is written in stories and allegories that we have to learn from. We have to dig into. It's not all right out there in plain sight for us to see, and that's part of the issue. That's part of what we have to do. We have to dig a bit, because by digging we learn to appreciate a bit more of what these words are all about, what's in this book. And as we go through the book, we find out it's not just a book. There's so much more and so many levels to what the Bible is all about, that the deeper one explores, the more one finds that this isn't just a book, that there's a lot to it, and it brings a lot of questions, and it certainly is filled with a lot of insight. So the book of Revelation is outlining for us a time that are the end times, a time which I believe is going on as we speak, that we are living in the end times, when many of the things that have been prophesied are going to unfold, and we're going to have an opportunity to experience them during this time. That's why I believe that the challenges we're facing are all challenges that are addressed in these books. The book of Daniel addressed challenges that we would be facing in the world. When we heard the stories of Daniel and his friends and what they went through and the faith that they needed to continue to express in order to move through life. And then the prophecies that Daniel talked about. We're talking about times shortly after they were alive, and then times which were the end times, times he was told to seal up until the end days. And here we are in times that events are unfolding. So, moving on, we're now up to chapter 14, the book of Revelation. Let's see how far we get today. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Sion, with him 144,000 having his Father's name written in their foreheads, and heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they with which the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. They were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly into the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark on his forehead or on his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out with mixtures into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of his holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in the sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Revelation 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the last 7 plagues. For in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacles of the testimony in heaven was opened. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple, till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. And I heard a great voice out of the temple, saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which had worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of the waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angels of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, for thou art and wast and shall be, because thou hast judged us. For they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and the power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And the men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world, to gather them to battle of the great day of God Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. There were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since man were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came into remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of the heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, and the plague thereof was exceedingly great. Revelation 17. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon the many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goes into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have been received no kingdoms as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have 1 mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. They shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, the King of kings, and they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Revelation 18. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and become a habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye not receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Remember her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much hath she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judged her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her, and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls, and of fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and godly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust in their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, wherein we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians, and of pipers and of trumpeters, shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth. Right? So tomorrow we'll pick up with 18, and I believe we shall be able to make it to the end of Revelation. And then next week we'll get into a bit more of a discussion and a breakdown of what it was that we were looking at. All right? So here's a quiz. This comes to us from In5D. An article says, Quiz yourself 28 signs that you are awakening. And it's always good to have some confirmations about things to know where we're going. So 1, moving into a better job that supports the expression of who you are, your passion, your mission, which are basically the same. 2, greater financial abundance as you've never quite experienced before. 3, most of your dreams come true and easily. 4, you attract a new mate or partner, or you or your current partner have a relationship revolving around companionship with no issue-related hooks. You love, admire, and adore each other for who you are with no dependencies. 5. As you further evolve, you reunite with your twin flame, which is a total reflection of you. Being together is like being with yourself when you feel a unity to source as never before. 6. You don't seem to care much about anything, and nothing seems to matter anymore. You have evolved out of the old way of being, of drama and emotions. 7. You've lost your interest in the New Age arena. 8. You know that all your needs are met and always will be. 9. You no longer have the desire or need to make things happen or try to fix anything. You understand allowing, acceptance, being, and intent. 10. You no longer relate to mental and analytical processes. You now relate to feeling. 11. You can no longer care what anyone thinks about you or anyone else. 12. You understand that there is no right or wrong, good or bad, black or white. Everything just is. 13. You finally realize that there is no dark or light. The appearance of lack of light is simply to provide a contrast to spur us on to creating what really feels good. All energy is going in the same direction, supporting the light. 14. You have lost your desire to read books or gather any new information, as you are now much more connected to Source and can gather it directly by feeling, being, and knowing. 15. Your health improves and you experience a miracle-like healing of long-standing physical ailment. 16. You crave a simplicity in all things and require and thrive on simple processes, simple desires, and a very simple lifestyle. 17. You begin to experience a flow in life at a slow, leisurely pace where you need not do anything you do not really wish to do. Everything falls into your lap. You experience much more basking, savoring, and gratitude for the simple things in life. 18. You only desire to do what is yours to do and no longer have a life full of mundane responsibilities. When much releasing has been completed, you are then left with the purified you, a gold nugget of your divine expression. This is your contribution to the new world. 19. You easily pick up the thoughts, feelings, desires, and needs of others as they are becoming telepathic. You can control your emotions and your experiences, and you create your world with your mind and intent without doubt or fear. 21. Your surrounding environment has little effect on you. You don't take things personally. Nothing is really worth getting upset about. 22. You have an unquenchable thirst for creativity. The enormous amount of energy running through you demands an outlet. You feel most at home in alignment with Source when you are in your passion and creating. 23. You laugh a lot and find many things amusing and funny. 24. You have a heightened love and compassion for all living things. You are also experiencing higher states and more frequent states of love and joy. 25. You live in the moment without a day planner. Things just naturally unfold day by day and moment by moment. All stress is gone. 26. You feel incredible peace. There is distinct absence of fear and you feel safe. 27. Your inner child seems to have disappeared, relating to issues and wounds. Although you love to play and frolic, much of the time you just want to play, play, and play. And 28. You have an understanding about how everything is connected. You understand that there are no mistakes. So that's quite a list. Quite a list to go over. So check through that list, go through, see what things apply to you, see what things don't. Kind of is good to check ourselves from time to time to see how we're doing in this thing called life, how we're progressing. Are we moving along? Are we staying the same? You know, I trust that we're all moving along and going through the processes we need to. That's happening whether we like it or not. Everyone's kind of being forced to move along in this world, and certainly on this show, I know that the information and by the comments and the emails and things I get, that everyone that's listening seems to be moving along in the same path, the same direction. So it's good, and it's good to know, on a daily basis, to come here to know that we're all participating in this together. Even though I'm the guy here that's facilitating things and doing the most talking, I know that we're all on this journey together, and that what we're experiencing is something that is a communal experience. So that's pretty cool to know that, and I see that reflected by the things that you say, your comments, your emails, and so on. So those are all very much appreciated. And all right, so next up, this channeled message. I hope you like these channeled messages. I find them very fascinating. A lot of times that they're labeled as from the Galactic Federation. People have different ideas about the Galactic Federation, who they are, what they're about. I try just to not get caught up in the messenger, but to listen to the message. And the messages that come through these are all messages that are very beneficial to humanity, very beneficial to each and every individual. And that's what I find most important. I don't worry about the other stuff about who's saying it, or all this other stuff, because you can tell by what the words that those are what's most important. Okay, so that being said, here's today's message.
The Council.
You will become youer than you. Channeled by Ronald Head. January 12, 2015.
The Council.
To continue from where we left off in our last message, we will speak to the subject of what you are calling ascension. We offer, as we have before through this channel and others, that it might be more properly called descension. In other words, you are not becoming your higher selves so much as your higher selves are preparing you to be able to handle it as they incarnate more of themselves into you. With apologies to Dr. Seuss again, you will become youer than you. Much of the discomfort that you have been experiencing is due to the fact that your physical being simply could not have survived this in the state that it was just a short time ago. You have no understanding of the effect that the taking on of such frequency would have had on you. Even now, you will have some rather challenging times ahead, although we shall be as careful as we can not to overload your nervous systems. We often hear you say, "Bring it on," or "I'm ready." Let us say that there are those who are experiencing the beginnings of their increased consciousness and its effect upon them and are having a bit of a struggle at times, hoping they are not going crazy. We can almost promise you that there are those around you now who dare not tell you some of what they are dealing with. We tell you this, not so that you will be wary of what awaits you, but so that you will be prepared for possibilities that you have not considered, or have no frame of reference for. These things really are, in the context of what we are talking about, not important, other than to have you be a bit prepared. What is important is that you come to understand, and finally to know, that you are indeed the very embodiment of the divine being that is the spark of the one that is also at one with the light of your source. Now, we hear thoughts and feelings of, "That is not new and I already know that." Understand that your intellect is talking. When we say no, we mean it as in "I know I am alive." Do you feel, when you say that, how different it is from intellectual understanding? This is where you are heading. This is what this time is all about. Some of you will go one way to get there, and others will go other ways. That is as it should be. There is no reason, nor is it even desirable, for everyone to ride the same bus. You exist so that the one can experience all of it. As we said before, enjoy the ride.
All right, very good. Enjoy the ride. Yep, that's what it is. This is just one big ride that we're all participating in, and we're all having our own experience of this ride, which makes it kind of cool, right? All right, this is from the Warrior of the Light, passage for today. From now on, and for the next few hundred years, the universe is going to help warriors of light and hinder the prejudiced. The Earth's energy needs to be renewed. New ideas need space. Body and soul need new challenges. The future has become the present, and every dream, except those dreams that involve preconceived ideas, will have a chance to be heard. Anything of importance will remain. Anything useless will disappear. However, it is not the warrior's responsibility to judge the dreams of others, and he does not waste time criticizing other people's decisions. In order to have faith in his own path, he does not need to prove that somebody else's path is wrong. Good wisdom there indeed. That brings us to our meditation for today. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale. And breathe in again. And exhale. And just feel the rhythm of your breath as you continue to breathe in and breathe out. And as you feel the rhythm of your breath, feel how this breath and this rhythm is in synchronicity with the rhythm of life and the energy moving around you. And as you feel the synchronicity of the rhythms around you, and you feel further and further from yourself, you feel that all of life is moving to a rhythm. As if we are all involved in one giant dance. So we move back and forth with the rhythm, getting in tune with ourselves, in tune with the universe, in tune with others. And we imagine ourselves now out walking the path of life. And as we walk the path of life, we notice that there are other paths. And we see people and others walking these other paths. And we realize the different paths that we have in life. And as we step back and take a perspective of all of these paths, we see that they eventually all lead to the same place. So it doesn't matter the path that we take, because we're going to get to where we need to be. And the particular path we're on is the one that is going to be the most synchronistic for ourselves. It's the one we feel the most in rhythm with. And we understand that those on the path with us are all sharing this journey, this experience. So we move along with a sense of faith that the things we experience on our path are for our highest good. And as we understand these things along the path for our highest good, we find that this perspective allows us to grow and be in better synchronicity with the path. So just imagine the path that you are walking. Imagine the things that you are learning as you walk along this path. And take time to express gratitude to yourself for choosing the path. Take time to express gratitude to the lessons you are learning. Take time to express gratitude to the other people that are part of this path, for they are part of the lessons that you are learning, and vice versa. And take time to express gratitude to the Creator of all life, the one who put us down on this planet that we might choose the paths and just imagine ourselves walking, moving along. Contemplate the words of these affirmations. I love every cell of my body. And just imagine that love flowing through you. I am pain-free and totally in sync with life. I am grateful for my healthy body. I love life. And so just think about your body. Think about your health, your well-being. And know that as we continue to move along the path faithfully, with gratitude, we allow more of this health, wealth, and understanding to express itself in our lives. And as we continue to walk along, we learn that the abundance of the universe is there for all of us. It is only the things in our minds that block it. And so as we walk along the path and we remove these barriers, we find that life pours its abundance, its health, its wealth, and its blessings upon us. It always has and always will. We simply remove the barriers that we might receive more. So just imagine ourselves walking along the path, accepting and receiving the blessings of the universe, the blessings of the Creator. Let our subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is it for today. Thank you very much for being here. Tomorrow we should finish up the book of Revelation. And we'll have a lot to think about after all of that to figure out where all that comes together in our lives and how it unfolds. But we'll get to that tomorrow. Today we have plenty of things to consider and think about from all of the words and stuff that we read today. So have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.